Hi there, it's Sandra here from createinspain. Today I thought I'd do a video on how I create prototypes. This is a prototype of a mug which basically folds flat into a card and pops up. It works really well, but there's some elements of the design that I want to change. And in fact I have changed. Now, first of all, this is a very large one because it's easier to see faults on a large scale. I'm pretty pleased with this, but the way I did this one was I created a file with a handle on either end, and the handle is stuck together, and that's what literally makes the object three-dimensional. But I don't really like it too much because, me being fussy, I can see the gap down there and I don't like it. So I decided I would try doing something different. What I didn't want to do was to just put a tab on this side and then put slits in the other side for a handle to go in. I still wanted it to be extremely easy to put together and with as little fuss as possible. So I think I've done exactly that with my modified design. Now I did several different ways of doing it. I tried doing the handle separately and blah. Didn't really care for it a great deal, but I think I've now worked out how I want to do it. Now what I've done is I've put a tab on one side and a handle on the other. I folded back these little tabs already. These don't have any score lines on them, but it's not really a problem, they're very small. And then the usual score lines are easily folded like that. But I have this second part of a handle because if you do it with just the one, it's a little bit flimsy perhaps, unless you're using a very thick card, and I'm not. When I designed the file, I designed it with a separate handle. I added the handle to the outside shape, and then I copied the handle, erased a part of it to make this piece separately, because when I added it to my outside shape, the handle actually was going in here, because this is done on a welding function or a combined function depending on what software you're using. So I just need to put a bit of glue on here. I can put my second layer of the handle in place just to make it feel a little more substantial. And then I can put the glue on this tab here and fold this down, and that will complete my cup. So this makes it extremely easy to make. Now one tip which you might want to know about when you're doing 3D pop-ups and things is to make sure that the glue goes to the fold edge. So here we go, I have my little cup and I'm very pleased with the way that has turned out. As a prototype, I think that's great. Now you may be wondering, how on earth do you fix this into a card? But it's very simple. These tabs, and I'll just fold them out for the moment so you can see, go on either side of the fold of your card. So you would find the center fold and you would either stick it in like so, or as I've done here, you can put slits in the card itself in order to put the card through the slits and then fasten it on the other side, either with glue or tape or even both. So how do you know where to put the slits? Well, it's actually quite easy, particularly if you happen to have a mat like this, or a piece of graph paper will do the job. You want to pull it out as far as you want it so that the shape that you can see down in here is pretty even, and then you can just eyeball measure it. Now that's about 2.4, I'd say 2.3, 2.4 centimeters. And so if I was doing this on a piece of card, and I've got a piece of paper here, I would take a ruler. Now if the total measurement is 2.4, then I would want 1.2, and I would just do a little mark. And then I think, right, okay, my tab is about that wide, another 1.2, and I would just cut a slit. Whoops, helps if I don't press too hard on my pencil. I would just cut a slit in the card. When it's stuck down, when it's opened up, it opens and then it goes completely flat when it's closed. Really, really simple to do. So now what I'm going to do is go into Shortcuts a lot and show you how to do a base design that allows you to alter it so that you can alter the height of the cup or the width of the cup or whatever else it is that you want to do, alter the pattern on the edge, don't have a pattern on the edge, whatever. So I'm going to go to my computer now and show you how I designed the base file that you can alter in any way that you want. First of all, I want a rectangle, so here we go, just a rectangle. Now, if I want a wide cup, I probably want this between 15 and 20 centimetres, so I'm going to choose 20 centimetres. Circles take quite a lot of width, so yeah. And I only want this one to be quite shallow, so I'm going to put 4 centimetres on there. Oops, forgot I got the proportions checked. Okay, 20 centimetres, there we go. So long and thin, that's fine. Now, the next thing I need to do is to work out where all my fold lines are going to be, and it's far better to do this now than later on. It's so much easier. So I'm going to go to my library. That's my chosen method of getting a straight line. And I want this to be 4 centimetres again. So, whoops, just put in 4 in there. There we go. And I want 7 of them. I have 6 lines, but I need 7 lines. So, object, duplicate, up to 7. Whoops, 1 too many there. Group them, click OK. And now I'm just going to select these, tick off the keep proportions. I don't want the proportions done, but I want this to be 20 again. So go for 20, and there we are. And I am now going to change them so they're dashed lines. There we go, we have dashes. So I've now got all these, and I've got this. Now the easiest way of making sure that you keep things lined up is to take it all and to go and put it into the center of the page. So these are always going to be in line with that unless you move it. It's an easy way of doing things. So these I need to ungroup, and I want to take off the end one like that, and take the end one off of there, and now just group the rest of them together. And I'm not going to do anything with these until I've got this all done. So there's a couple of things I need to add to get this to be a cup. Now, one of them might be a handle. Now, you can do all sorts of things for a handle, but one of the easiest things to do is a letter C. Why make life difficult for yourself? There we are, a letter C. This is way too big, so I will make it smaller. I will put this over here. Now I want to weld it to that, but I want to make a copy of it. So go to copy, paste in place, and now I want to go to object lock. Because here I want to combine this one, so I want to go to path and union. Now the one which is locked is going to be alterable, and this is not going to be. So I'm going to go to object and lock again. So nothing can happen to this. I'm going to go to the eraser, big eraser, take it up to the left line and make sure I've got my closed paths on. Take it up to the left of the line, just there, and tap. Now if I am lucky and this has worked properly, I've got both of them locked. Oh dear, okay, right. Object, unlock all. Let's move one of these out of the way a moment. Now I'm going to use the keyboard to tap on my arrows, my down arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, just moving it out of the way. This here has been welded together, so I'm going to go to Object, Lock, go back to my eraser, use that left line as a guide and just get rid of that extra bit on that letter C. And now I have the second part of my handle, and I can select, at least I would, Object, Unlock All, and now I can work on this one again. So the next thing I need to do for this is put a tab on, and the easiest thing to do is just use a rectangle. You can angle the rectangle if you want, but you don't have to. And I'm making it fairly large in length. Right, there we go. And Path Union. So I've got my tab in place. So this is looking pretty good so far. Now this is where you need to think about if you want any scalloped edges or not. If you don't want a scalloped edge, then you're fine, just leave as is. If you want a scalloped edge, take a circle, make it whatever size you want it to be. And I'm going to put it down here. Right, let's take this and break apart. For some reason, it doesn't like doing it on the things which have got more than one path. So I'm going to take the inside of the handle and I'm going to go to Object and hide it. There we are. And now I'm going to make sure that that is at the front. There we are. And now I should be able to do my object to path, if all is well. Now, auto preview. Yes, it's working now because it's moved it. Now I wanted to start on that top left corner, so what I'm going to do is click on the minus and it's going to roll that ball back to where I need it to be. And I want to decrease the spacing so they overlap a little bit. I can squeeze another one in. Yeah, that'll probably be okay. Right, so I'm just going to the left slightly. There we go. That will do, and stretch it out a little bit. There we are, that's better. Okay, so I should be able to make that all one shape. Yeah, there we go, no problem. Object, show all, and I will exclude that. So that is a shape in its own right. And then all I need to do is take those and make sure that they are centered like so, and group it. So that's it, that bit is done. And then the fun bit is going into the effects, going into the wrapper, and you can play around with the settings to do whatever you so wish on this. You can change the top diameter, the bottom diameter, the slant height, and just play around with the settings until you get a result that you like, and click OK. And there we have the basis for my cup. And all I need to do is to cut out these two pieces and I'll have a complete cup. The one thing I just remembered I've forgotten to do is put some tabs on the base there. Now, if you happen to do what I did and forget about the tabs, it's a bit of a pain, but it's not insurmountable. Just pick a shape. And in this particular case, you want them to go on this wedge here and this wedge here. So I would just put that there. Copy, paste in place, turn it in the other direction. And put one there. There we go. And ungroup that. See if I can pick up all my... we can't pick those up. Okay, just do it by holding down the Shift key to group these so I can hide them out of the way. Object, lock. And now I should just be able to select that and go to Path Union And there you can see I've got my tabs in, and now I go to unlock all. And if I take the colour out of this, it will look like it did originally. There we go. So group those together, and there it is, all done. So as long as I cut out this piece of handle as well, I've only got 2 pieces to cut out. I mean, you could, if you're using a very thick card, you could get away with it and just not bother with the second bit of the handle, in which case you don't have to bother with doing the copy and so on of that area. But if you want a more substantial handle, then you need to do that, and you'll end up with a piece which sticks over there precisely, and that's how you need it to be. So that's how I developed the cup file, and I've got all sorts of different variations on here. I've also done a little saucer. All you need to do is cut a couple of slits in there, the width that is required for your particular card, and stick it down on the other side with the tabs, and then stick it into your card, and you're done. And here's the one that I just showed you the file for, and as I said, all you need to do is measure between that point there and that point there when it's in the right proportion to work out how far apart you need your slits to be in your saucer. So I would actually measure that and put it in the file itself before I cut the saucer out, because I know I'm no good whatsoever at using a craft knife. But if you want to do it manually, that's entirely up to you. It's so easy to do these that they are great fun, and they can look pretty impressive. So I've got this cup here, and I want to put some flowers in it. I actually did these to go into a different cup. They're not large enough. I made them much too small. So I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to put them in a smaller one. And you might be thinking, how on earth do you put these things in here so they'll pop up? It's actually really quite simple. A piece of corrugated paper, or concertina folded, I should say, not corrugated. Right, so I've got these stuck back to back because you don't want to see plain card on either side. I'm going to start with the middle bit here, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on either side of this. This isn't glued shut, this is just folded. So a little bit of glue there, a little bit of glue there. Open up, oops, I just got it in my finger. Typical. Open this up because I've only glued the flower part together. I didn't glue the lower part. And then that can go on there. Now make sure that it doesn't get stuck together in the centre, because you don't want that to happen. But that can go on there, like so. Then the other one, I'm going to rotate it around so that it goes that way around. The flowers are slightly different. And going to do exactly the same thing on this one here. If my piece of card is too short, I can always stick another piece on it. That won't be a problem. And there we go. So we basically have 3 different levels of flowers. And you can obviously skew them to one side or the other if you want to, or have them all upright. And then this is going to go in here. And all I have to do is put a tiny little dab of glue on there and a little dab of glue on there. Now the important bit is that it goes on the same piece as the tabs, because that is going to go across the fold. So you don't want to do it that way, you want to make sure it goes in the same direction as your tabs are going. And then, if you are sensible, put a heavy weight on it and just leave it until the glue is dried. I did make 2 mistakes on this. I should have made the middle one a lot bigger so that it stood up in between the 2 ones on either side. The other thing is I forgot, in my haste to put it together, to colour in what was the remains of a blue vase, but all I did was I simply squished it down again and used an alcohol marker to colour in the blue vase bit that I didn't want to show, and that's worked just fine. but I really do think I should have put a bigger one in here. Now it's not completely lost, because what I could do is print and cut it out slightly larger and then just put it over the top of that, and no one would be really any wiser. I could simply put one piece either side and that would be that done. But that's how it comes out. At the end of the day, it doesn't look bad at all. It's quite pretty. And if you're thinking this looks a slightly familiar design, if you've had a look at any of my sticker designs, that's where this one comes from. I just picked a design off my iPad that I'd already done and thought, yep, that'll do fine as a bunch of flowers. To finish this one off, I've actually gone over the vase part with a gold pen, just doing random curly lines. I have actually adjusted the file. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.